So the other day, I asked you on Instagram your questions on the Air Raid, Baylor, 425, and more, and we're answering those right now. Let's do it. All right, so again, Instagram. If you're not following me, go ahead and do that because I love Instagram, and I asked questions. I said, hey, I'm going to go live. What are some questions for you? We're going to dive into it, and I'm calling this little segment the Coaching Q&A, and we're going to go over some certain things that you asked. I have 10 questions. Make sure you stay to the number 10 because it really is the best question. So let me move my ugly face out of the way. The very first question is, what is my favorite trick play that you've ran over the years? And I'm going to be completely honest. I don't run trick plays. And the reason why is I'm a little apprehensive on trick plays. Like if anytime I see a trick play being ran, either one or two things happen. It's a touchdown or it is freaking awful and it sucks. I don't like to spend that much time on them. What I'd like to do is that time in practice trying to perfect that trick play, use it to getting better at the plays that we've already done, the stick, the four verts. If you're a buck team, anything like that, take the time and get perfect on the plays that you are already doing. But if you're really gung-ho on making a trick play, find the number one play that you have, whatever it is. If it's a pass play, and then build a trick into it. So if it's a pass, maybe hook and ladder. If you do buck sweep, maybe it's a buck pass or something like that where you hand the ball off and then you throw it. If you run a lot of bubbles, make a double bubble pass where you throw the bubble and the guy catches it and throws the ball. Anything like that. The best trick plays that I've talked to are the guys that build the trick into their number one play. So you want to go ahead and check that out because that is the way. I'm not a big fan of the Kevin Kelly, who we're going to talk about in a minute, and all of his crazy plays and all that, because to me, the biscuit isn't worth the risk it, you know? So that's just my thing. And good morning, coaches. How you doing? Chase, to answer your question right there, where can I pick up your Air Raid Simplified ebook? It should be, if you're on my email list, I usually have it linked at the bottom of that, so check that out. Anthony, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? I hope everything's all right. So that was the very first question. Let's go into the second one right here. What do you think about the gun tee text bone offense with air raid concepts? And this is I get this a lot. Hey, coach, what about the flex bone with the run and shoot? Or what about the wing tee with the air raid? Or what about the West Coast with triple option? There's a reason why, and I want everyone to understand this. Those offenses didn't mesh together because you're taking two conflicting ideals, two conflicting philosophies, and you're trying to merge them together. The gun tee is just the wing tee from shotgun. That's it. And I've run it. I've talked to Kenny about it and everything like that. You're basing out of buck, counter, down, belly. That is the wing tee. Yeah, you may change a little bit and have a couple of air raid passes, but the air raid is more of a philosophy. Hey, we're going to get good at a handful of plays and just rep them over and over again. And notice most of those plays are passing plays because that is the philosophy of that offense. Wing tee, you want to control the ball, control the clock, and it's usually 3 yards in a cloud of dust. A lot of wing tee coaches hate hearing that but it is true. You don't like the risk of throwing the ball. You want to control the clock, control the ball. Now, why are you going to try to have that philosophy right there and then also go with the philosophy of I want to pass the ball and YOLO it through the air? Those two are conflicting ideas. Same thing with the text bone. The text bone is something I think Rick Stewart is putting together with another coach that is about the option. You can't get great at the option and get great at the air raid together. You can't do that. You have to go all in, and that's the problem. A lot of us think we're smarter than we are, including myself. I want to mix and match and do all this stuff because I see the college guys do it, the NFL guys are doing it, and we have to come together as a group of high school, middle school, youth coaches. We don't have those athletes. We cannot go and select those athletes. Yes, everyone says that you can have, you judge your system based on your players. That's full of crap because I have seen teams that have wing tee through and through, and they don't have wing tee guys. They have spread guys. I've seen spread guys that are spread, and then all of a sudden they just have a batch of slow guys. And when you keep changing from year to year, it is very difficult to get great at stuff. You have to have consistency throughout your program. And that is what you can't do if you're merging 2 or 3 different offenses together. Every coach tries to do it. Every coach thinks they can do it. And then the mature coaches go, oh, crap, I can't do this at all. I need to just stick with one thing and learn it inside and out. And that's the whole concept right there. Why do they combine those two? Because it sounds sexy. We all want that sexy thing. We all want to have the wing tee with the air raid, or we all want to have a flex bone with the run and shoot. Yes, there's some aspects in it, but they're not good. What are you more willing to hang your hat on and say, this is what we're going to get great at? I don't give a crap if they run me out of town. This is what we're going to do as long as I am here. You need to answer that yourself, but when you do, you'll be pretty good. All right? Question number 3. Why are so many offenses dead set on the shotgun as the primary formation? Personally, it's easier. I don't have the line or the quarterback to snap the ball in the center and get a 7-step drop. I do have it where I can snap the ball and get a 1 drop step and throw the quick game and stuff like that. That is me. And then also it plays into effect, and I know you don't like to hear this. Kids like being a shotgun because they see it on Saturdays and Sundays. And you don't see that many teams on Saturdays and Sundays under center. They may have a couple of packages. I mean, right off the top of my head, maybe the Rams and the 49ers, that's about it. Most of the teams are in shotgun for a lot of them. And also, again, those are pros. Those are professional athletes getting paid hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars playing the game. You've got a kid that's probably doesn't know where his next meal is coming, and yet you think you can run those types of offenses. The reason why the air raid's been successful everywhere it's been for 30 or 40 years, the wing tee, the flex bone, the wishbone, any of those the single wing, any of those types of offenses, they're successful at the high school level because they're a system. You have resources that you can get. You can run that. You know exactly the ins and outs of those offense. You don't have to think. And I think that's the secret weapon for coaches. Don't think. You don't have to sit there on Sundays trying to scheme up an opponent like the NFL do, because that's a full-time job. You are teaching. You have several other things in that school throughout the day that you have to do. Then you have to outthink the next coach on Friday night when you're sitting there on Sunday. No, find a system you like. Whatever it is, there's some systems that are under center. If you like that, great. Go to Flexbone. Go to the wing tee. There's some systems that are shotgun that like to throw the ball. You like that? Go to the run and shoot. Go to the air raid. But find what it is that you want and run it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. And that's a great question, Coach. It's just there's a lot of coaches are just angry, like, I want to be under center. Who cares? It's easier to go shotgun. Actually, it helps your offensive line a little bit, and it helps your quarterback, because I promise you, in this day and age, quarterbacks under center, man, their butthole gets like this, especially if you're trying to throw the ball. It gets like this. When they're backed up, you kind of alleviate that a little bit, and it helps. So that is why. All right, and again, coaches, thank you so much for being here. I asked questions on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, go ahead and check it out. Let me know where you're from right now in the chat. And also, hey, if you like these and you want me to do more, give me a thumbs up, because that tells me, I need to do more of these. So, Quincy, what's going on, man? How are you doing? Clarence, good morning. How are you? Axel, good morning. Thanks for the time and willingness to share. And, hey, thanks for being here, buddy. High fives and butt slaps. Jason, amen. Tough to create hybrid concepts. I'm not smart enough to create them. I'm going to be 100% honest. I forget what I had for breakfast 2 days ago. How the hell am I going to scheme up to beat somebody else? I'm not smart. I'm not at all. So I'm gonna use whatever offensive system speaks to me the most. It's the air raid. I love throwing the ball, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hang my hat on that. All right. Question 4: air raid or brawl system? Which one do you think is the best for high school? Air raid, hands down. And this is why. 1, no one talks about the brawl system. Yes, where I'm in my position, thanks to y'all, I have talked to certain coaches that kind of sprinkle it in, but no one's going to sit you down and be like, hey, yo, listen, this is exactly what you need to run in this system. All right. And if you go back to it, the brawl system, it's really simple. Choice routes with really fast dudes at slots. And you got a quarterback that can put it on a dime. Okay, on a dime. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand about that. They had 4-3 guys at the slots. They had a freaking quarterback that put him on the map that won the Heisman, and another one that was on his way until he broke his neck. They had that thing going, and it was, I want to say 3 or 4 years. T-Mac can correct me if I'm wrong. And no one tells you. There's little intricate things that you need to know. Like, there really is. I'm not going to spill the beans because I'm in the cool club, and I kind of know it. But it's very hard to run. And from year to year, you don't know if you have those guys, because that really is. It's like, hey, I'm going to put this guy here, and hopefully he knows the choice route. The air raid, there's resources all my channel, you've got other channels on YouTube, you've got stuff on CoachTube, you have the resources, you have the Tony Franklin system if you want to do that, although I think it's kind of changed a little bit, but you have a bunch of resources and other coaches that are knowledgeable in the offense that are willing to share with you so you can understand the ins and outs, the yins and yangs, what to do and everything like that. So you're not scrambling on game night being like, what the hell are we going to do? It has answers built in. No one has come out and said that they have the answers for the Art Brawl system and they know it to a T. The people that are telling you that are putting that out there to buy my materials, they're lying. They're not. They don't know it all. And what they have done is they have taken the things that they do know and mixed it in with their own philosophy. Because here's the deal. Little secret. If you're in the Brawls Cool Club and you tell people what to do, like that secret, you're cut off. It's like, nope, you're iced out. It's almost, it's to the point where it's like the old school run and shoot where no one told you anything, or the slot T. If you're in, you're in. You keep your freaking mouth shut. If you're in and you blab and you tell anybody, you're done for. Like they will ice you out. So there's a reason why people aren't teaching that, is because they don't know it. So if you're thinking about those two, I would go the air raid, because it is freaking amazing, man. It is. It simplifies things. All right, and speaking of this, here we go. Question number 5 from Coach. Installed Y-cross and Y-sail out of 2-back formation fast motion. If you don't know, he's talking about the one formation offense that I've put together. There's a link floating around somewhere. If you want it, just go ahead and comment one formation, and I'll shoot you the link to that. It killed it. I need more from that look. So I love this. I love the 2-back formation, and the number one thing that I like the most, if you're going to do that, is fast motion with corner. I love corner. I think it's amazing. And what he's talking about is 2-back like this, and then you have something here. I love corner. So on the back side of this, you have a 3-step hitch. And I'm telling you this, if you can get your guy to throw the backside hitch when it's there, and just to always do that circumvents everything. Like, hey, if you got the backside hitch, throw it all the time. I don't care what we have front side. You're going to murder teams. And I mean that with the utmost respect. It's going to be disgusting. You're going to love it. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's pre-snap. Here, you got the 4-step corner, and then you have the foot fire snag, and then this guy is the flat, and then you can have a couple of things. And I'm going to show you why I love this, all right? So what we would do is we would probably slide protect this way and man protect. I hate huddle. I hate it right here. And then he would step up, and he would have either this backer or this backer. So what you're teaching your quarterback, okay, is first, key the safeties. Are they inside the Y or not? So if they're inside, you may have a chance to throw that corner. Take it. If they're outside, head up to outside, the corner is dead, so you're not going to throw it. So if it's inside, it goes corner, swing, snag. The reason why I want corner, swing, snag is because it's the same thing as stick, swing to stick. I want to keep that same kind of thought process in the quarterback's head. All right? If this guy is over here, so the corner's taken, then it's just swing to snag right there. Why do I love this play? Well, on this play right here, you can then build in one of my favorite freaking screens of all time, the running back slow screen. It is disgusting. It is a beautiful thing. And last year, it was our number one screenplay, pretty much our number one run play. I mean, our number one play in general. So you're going to do the same motion with these 3 guys, all right? You're going to push crack that guy right there. It doesn't look good. Please don't put in the comments like, oh, that doesn't look. I'm just showing you, okay? I'm just showing you. What we would do here is we would 1001, 1002, and then he has got the sidewalk. 1001, nope. Let me back up right here. Redo. we would have this guy, and he would do 1001, 1002, and then he's got the alley. The center, 1001, 1002, he's got rat kill. What the running back will do then is he steps up, he goes across, and whenever he feels the guard release. So he's just sitting there right behind the guard, he's just sitting there, you're the guard, right? I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I see you go, well, I'm going to turn around and backpedal. And when I do that, I'm just going to backpedal until I get the ball. Backpedaling is key. For the quarterback, you can do one of two things. You can say, hey, this is a dual read this is a pass, or a pass screen type option. And I know that's all fancy and stuff, and people want to do that. That's great. You can tell them, hey, you're going to see if you can throw the snag. If you can throw the snag, boom, throw the snag. If not, you come back and throw the slow running back screen. Or if I'm starting out with this, I'm going to tell them this is just a straight up screen to the running back. Don't let these beautiful guys know that they're not going to get the ball because they won't run hard enough. But you just look, okay, and then you backpedal right here toward the side of the screen. That's very important. You want to do it because it helps with the angles, and then you just dump it off. And right there, that is a nice little adjustment that you can have, I promise you. So you're not doing anything new. You can do whatever you want. But this right here, the corner and the slow running back screen, if they're not already in, coach, if you have not put those in your offense, or anybody else that is actually watching this, if you haven't put that play in, you need to. All right? So there we go. All right, next question. So if I'm faced with the 4-2-5 defense, what is the best play or concept to attack it with? Great question. The first thing is it one high or two high? Because that kind of changes your perspective right there. So if it's one high or two high, you have to ask yourself. Now let me bring this up, and I will actually write it out. And what I like is if it's a 4-2-5, I like to go even, okay? Because then they have to do something. So let's say we're just in our normal 2x2. You can call it whatever you want. You call it H, you can call it doubles, you can call it dual, whatever. So right here we got a 4-2-5. Well, I want to know, what are they doing? Are they playing too high? Because if they're playing too high, then you got to figure out where they at with that apex backer. Do they put them on the same side as the running back? Do they put them opposite? Because what I'd like, if they put them on the same side, number one thing right away is, hey, tear motion right here and just throw it to him. Because, I mean, who's got him? He's got the number one threat right here. Is it going to be the linebacker, or is it going to be the safety? Whatever. So you just catch it, you just turn them, you're running away from this guy because you have the numbers on this side. Really simple. If this is your due to, most of us, our guy is the running back. Catch, turn, throw it at him. Let him do what he does. And that's going to force them to do something. What are they going to do? Most of the time, they're going to get one of two things. If you use this motion, this is why I love push and tear. They will either spin down like this, okay, which is fine because this sets up the next thing I want you to use to attack, or they will bump like this. Well, if you know that they're going to bump like that, then you can just throw some form of something backside, flat, hitches, slants, anything like that. You can build that into the play, which, I mean, you can go ahead and build this in. Hey, if we're running this, then backside automatically has the slants, so that you're giving your quarterback the ability to have the answers within the play. And that's something that you need to have. Now, let's say that they are one high when you do this, or they just spin to one high. And I learned this the hard way. The moment you see one high, and I preach this all the time, and I am human, I forget to do this as well. When you see teams that go one high, your number one play better be flipping four verts. It better be some form of four verts because you really stress that safety. I think we make this game too difficult. I have myself included last game on Friday. It took me a while before I finally just in my head, I went, Ron, you dummy. F it. Run four verts. And it worked. We scored twice on it. The only two times we scored on it. So it's like, why aren't you doing that more? So if you see them spin with this motion, or you see them spin, or they're automatically in one high. Automatically, they're doing some form of this right here. You need to run four verts. Now, there's different ways to run four verts. I will let you decide. The way we do it is we always have one of the guys I will tag it's the Kyle Richardson way of going 15 and then coming back down. I don't give them the option of reading it and changing or anything like that. I am not a good enough teacher to do that. I know there are some coaches out there that are doing it. The longer I get into this profession on the high school level, I don't want to give my guys the ability, because to me, they forget to turn in work. They forget to do their schoolwork. They forget that they have tests. They forget a lot of things because they have a lot of things on their mind. I don't trust them to make the right decision. I'm sorry. That's just me personally. So this is what we do right here. And you teach your quarterback, hey, one high, just look, play the game. There's a drill on YouTube. I'll try to find it where I think once a week when Coach Leach was at Texas Tech, the quarterback would be here. He would have two quarterbacks on the hashes, and he would play the safety, and he would have the quarterback take his drop, put his eyes on one of the two hashes, make this guy run, and then he's throwing opposite. That's all you got to do. That is it. It's not rocket science. I have fallen into this trap as well where I'm like, I need to do this, this, and this. It's like, no, you see one high out of a 4-2-5 or a 3-3 stack or a 3-4, any form of one high, just throw 4 verts. You don't need to have an 1,000% or 100% completion, but if you hit it once or twice, you're going to get out of it. If not, you're going to have a field day. So keep doing it. All right, question number 6. What is the most consistent man beater? How do you combat press man versus superior athletes? So this is twofold, all right? So the very first one is consistent man beater crossing routes. You got to have some form of crossing routes, all right? Whether it be mesh, whether you just have this play dialed up right off the bat. So instead of this, you've got to have crossers, because you want to know if they are playing banjo coverage, meaning if you cross, do they switch? If not, then, just get a rub. There's so many things out there that they just, when you do something like this, they run into each other or something. It's really simple, okay? You need to have that. If not, use some form of motion. Are they chasing? You can run some motion from one side, and let's just say they have this, quickly motion him over here and then snap the ball and then just throw it to the flat. That was one of the best things about 60 Go. It was a man beater. It was freaking disgusting right there in the run and shoot. Use motion with the running back. Which one of these guys have the running back? Can you get leverage on them? Yes, throw it. Do they switch? Meaning if we have this, okay, and he's on the right side, does this backer always have this running back? So if he goes in motion, does this backer have to go? Or do they bump it? And if they bump it, well, then this should be open. So use motion, use crossing routes, all of that. Getting back to your second point, and I get asked this a lot, and I hate to tell you this, man. If they have superior athletes, if their Jimmies are better than your Joes, you're going to freaking lose, okay? And I know that kind of pisses some coaches off. Like, no, I can out-scheme. No, listen, if I'm going up against a team with a bunch of 4 5-star athletes and I have a bunch of no-star or 1-star athletes, it doesn't matter. Out of 100 attempts, I will probably lose 99% of them, okay? So if you have that, then what you need to do, I'm not saying that just give up or anything. If they're superior athletes, then what you can do is you can get great at the technique. So when you're going individual or you're doing things, really harp on 1 to 2 techniques to get off of press man, to give you just a little hint of an advantage. And you need to do that. You need to get great at a couple of off presses, okay? So whatever that is, Google wide receiver drills. You'll find a couple of them. You go ahead and do that. What else you can do is you can build this into every day. We're working 5-minute period. Hey, get off the press. Get off the man-to-man. You can build in a team blitz period where you're combining those two together so that your quarterback, if they're playing press man, they're bringing the funk so your quarterback doesn't crap the bed on Friday because it's the first time he saw man-to-man. He's actually seeing press man blitzes throughout the whole period so he knows what to do. You can build those things in, but there's not some magic pass concept or magic formation that's going to allow you to beat that. If they are better at you, Jimmys and Joes, you got to get better at them than in technique. It's kind of thing. What is that saying? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You have to have that same approach. They may be more talented than you, but we're going to have unbelievable technique to get us an advantage. And a lot of coaches don't want to hear that, and I'm sorry, you need to start working that into your daily routines, your indies. Okay. Question 7, favorite quick pass versus middle of the field open. Great freaking question. I'm going to bring that up. All right, Cameron, heck yeah, man. Hoover, Alabama. I appreciate it. Coach Greenfield from Germany. I hear you, man. Is it nighttime there yet? A.O. Buckets, good morning, Coach. How you doing? Michael, good morning, Coach. Good show. Thank you, man. You're going to make me blush. So let me bring this up. Middle of the field open. I like 2x2, and I'm just going to, because it stays in there. Okay, and if you're going to be in the comments, I'm not talking to y'all, but if you're just like, defenses don't line up like this, yes, they do. I can bring up that that Thursday night game where the Giants, I think, or was it Washington, that overloaded the right side and so many people on the left. So it does happen. My favorite 2x2 middle of the field open, Y-cross. I love it. And I love the way Coach Leach runs it by running a 10-yard out, right, speed out. And the reason why, most teams play some form of match coverage where you have to use the rules against them, okay? So right here, if he goes vert, he's going. If he goes 10 yards, and you can stretch this depending on watching film and figuring out what the defensive rules are for them. Maybe it's 8 yards, maybe it's 12 yards, whatever it is, go to that stretch and then make it so that it triggers man-to-man and he gets pulled out here. Why you want to do that is because now under, over, right there. You see that grass area right here. This is what you need because then you can do a couple of things depending on what they do. If this safety right here, doesn't do that. The linebacker's not blitzing from depth. Let's say, okay, this safety squeezes and starts running. Well, then on the backside, your answers, and this goes back to my other question where if you need to have a system, because systems have answers built in, if you're creating a hybrid system, you don't know jack squat. You don't know the answers, the if-then, all of that. But if you have a system, they have answers built in so you don't have to figure them out yourself. Is if that safety is squeezing, then you can tag this guy on a post, and there's your home run shot. Okay? Very simple. That is what I like to do. This is freaking amazing if it's middle of the field open. Do it. Or you can run stick, any form of quarter coverage or anything, corner. You can run corner, hit the stick. You have a lot of things open. What I would recommend is having like Lincoln Riley said, I want 80 to 85% of my playbook to have answers regardless of what the defense does. And a lot of passing concepts in the air raid have that. Same thing with the run and shoot. They have that. I'm not going to speak upon the West Coast because, first off, it's way too wordy. I hate that. It sounds like I have marbles in my mouth when I'm trying to spit it out. And two, I don't know it well enough. I'm just telling you what I know and what the most successful offenses have. And it's those types of passes. Do those and you'll win. Okay? Right there. All right, so let's see. There is a YouTube channel called The Sideline Hustle that is all high-level receiver cuts. Thanks, William. Yeah, go check that out right there. Just Google it to get off of press and stuff like that. Jason, watching from Missouri. How you doing, sir? Chase, I love Y-Cross. Just watched your Y-Cross tag video last night. Heck yeah, man. I love it too. It's simple. And if you run it the way that, we do it, just run it from left to right. This is the only way. The only way. So you can do it at a 2x2, 3x1, set to the right, 2 back, set to the right. And what you're doing is you're training your quarterback. Hey, when I call this play, it's always left to right. Always left to right. Always left to right. Over and over again. Repetition is the mother of mastery. I butchered that quote, but that's what I'm talking about. Your quarterback's got to understand it. And if you keep switching it up and keep adding tags and keep doing all this thing, he's not going to get great because he doesn't know it. And that's another problem that we have. I'm getting on my soapbox here, but you've got to stop adding new plays, new formations, new tags, new all that, because even though you know it, because we freaking eat, sleep, and breathe football, those kids don't. So it's not what you know. I know that's an old coaching cliche, but it's what your kids know. So stop adding new things. Just run it over and over again. Remember, we learned in a previous interview with Stan the Man how Mummy ran the same game plan for 5 games in a row, and they still couldn't stop it. And those are professionals that they're only paid to do this. So why do we as coaches, as high school coaches, youth coaches, middle school coaches, think we have to switch up every single week? We don't. We just do it because it makes us feel good, And we need to get out of that for the kids. That's what we need to do. William, what's going on, man, from California? Tony, what's up, man? I love your name, man. All right, so here we go. Got another one. 8. What would you do with an offense with great skill players but terrible offensive line? Throw the ball. I mean, air raid, run and shoot, whatever it is. I would just throw it. I think it's easier. You can run stick. I know Kyle Richardson says it. When you run stick or corner, that ball better be out in 1.5 seconds. That's enough time that your line doesn't even have to block anybody and still get it out. That's what I would do. Okay? This is perfect question right here. What's your opinion on analytics, i.e. Kevin Kelly and no punting onside kicks? I like it in theory, and I don't know if y'all in high school, yes, I do. I've been a part of staffs where we've been burnt on punting, on kickoff returns, and all of that where we're throwing it to or kicking it to the same guy. I don't know if that works in college because it didn't the other day. So that was the score right there, 72-0. So does it work in college? Right now, it did for 2 games and it didn't for 1. I would say in high school, I would onside kick more often. I would go for it more often. I would have some rules where, like, hey, 20 and backed up, I would punt it. I'm going to be honest, guys. We had a meltdown on Friday, and we had the ball on our 2-yard line. We put a punter in. Our punter kicked the ball damn near 70 yards, and that saved us the game right there. I mean, he booted it, and that was the game. And so you might have to tie in some rules where you're going to punt the ball in certain field aspects, but most of the time you're going to go for it on 4th down. Same thing with onside kicks. I like it because most of the time we'll tell that kid, this is why. You tell that kid, hey, number 4 on that other team is really good. Let's kick it away from them. Well, they're not college kickers, so they may be trying to kick it to the right because number 4 is on the left, but then they kick it all the way to the left to that number 4, and then they score. That happened to us one game. Same thing with punting. We said, hey, don't punt it to this kid. Punt it out of bounds. He kicked it right down the middle of the field, punted it to the guy. The guy scored. We lost by 7 because of that. So if you kick onside kicks or if you go for it a little bit more, you kind of have a little bit more control. And how much do you practice throughout the week? Do you practice more on offensive plays or do you practice more special teams? For us and for the staffs I've been on, it's more offensive plays. So why don't you use that to your advantage and actually go for it a little bit more than try to punt the ball when you maybe will practice punting 5 to 10 minutes a week, and that's it. So that's what that's my thought process on it. I really want to see that Kevin Kelly game. I always wondered what is the kryptonite for that amazing offense he runs. Well, Campbell found it. I think in Arkansas, he had better athletes. He had a lot of athletes. He was like a charter private school playing against other them like that. So, Jimmy's and Joe's always come down to it. And I've had a guy, I know a couple people on the PC thing, they say that practice is just nuts. Like it's a lot of 11 on 11. No, what we would typically think of in practice, what we do, he doesn't do. And that's fine. He does it, man. I'm not going to bash him or anything like that. I'm just saying that you may have to tweak those analytics for college because that's pretty bad right there. All right. So let's go. Next question. And here you go, Tony. Here you go. I saw it in chat. Favorite passing concept versus 3 high safety Tampa 2. I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen that many Tampa 2s with me. Tampa 2 to me is just cover 3. So can you do 4 verts? Can you do stick? Can you do corner? Can you do Y cross? All of that stuff. That's just my whole concept. I mean, I understand that that's kind of going toward what people are doing in the collegiate level. I don't know because I don't face that kind of stuff. I face country cover 3, cover 1, or read coverage. Those are it. I'm not the high class, Oklahoma, what Vass and them are doing. I have no idea. So probably if I ran up to it, if my plays aren't working, we'll just suck. But then again, when you go back and you look, I think it was 2018, Mike Leach, he didn't change anything. They still ran it, and they beat Iowa State in the bowl game. So when you're looking at that, you're going, oh, these plays do work regardless of whatever the defensive structure is because the progressions are sacred. Someone is always going to be open, and your quarterback has repped it enough over and over again. That's what I do. I don't have a thing that's like, oh, my goodness, we need this coverage, and this is what we're going to have to run. Because, hey, COVID has taught me something. Taught me a lot of things, but in the concept of football, it is you have to matter more on what you can do and not on the defense. This is why this week we've been off for 4 weeks. This past Friday was the first game we played in 4 weeks. We played week 0, and then either we had teams cancel or we got quarantined. All right, and then this week we were preparing for this one team. This one team was very aggressive in trapping the corner. They trapped the corners a lot. So I was teaching my guys, hey, when we run stick and you see too high, you can play games with that corner because we can get the whole shot. They really are aggressive on screens. So we're going to run a lot of locks and do it like that. They were very aggressive with this. And then on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, they called to say we were quarantined. We can't play them. So we go, oh, crap. So we're not playing again. And then at 3:45, the head coach sends out, hey, we're playing this other team. That brings the funk 100% of the time. 7-man pressure. So we're like, okay, crap. We got Wednesday and Thursday, then we're playing on Friday. So then we go and we're working the same thing. Well, we're doing a lot of these hots and everything. I'm drilling in my quarterbacks. Hey, we got a practice and a half because Thursday practice you can't go hard because it's Friday's the game. This is what you have to do. And then we get out there on game day and they're cover 1, 3-3 stack. They rarely brought the blitz. So everything we taught was garbage. And we struggled a lot actually. And then that in the middle of that game, I thought of, from this point forward, I do not care what the defense does. I will watch it. I will kind of have an idea, but we need to get good and control. The only thing we can control is what we do, how we get great. I can't sit there and game plan because right now, I don't know if we're even going to be able to play this team throughout this week. What I do know is we can get great at this technique. We can get great at blocking this play. We can get great at blocking these players on these screens or throwing this pass or getting the progressions. So from now, and I'm tying it back into favorite passing concepts, you really can't have that because at the high school level, you don't know what you're going to get. And in this day and age right now, in this COVID-27 or whatever, you don't know if you're going to play the same team in that week. So have a list of plays that you're like, you know what, this is what we do. These are our answers regardless of what the defense does, and we're going to get great at it. And I am going to get off my soapbox because that is what we do, okay? So, Nick, until they outlaw the ball use, composite balls for onside, really funny. Yeah, that's smart. That's really good. I love that. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's see. Tony, i.e. the onside kick, not punting thing is a lot like gambling. It may give you better percentages in the long term, but we live in the short term. I agree. Tony, you saw that once and we ran the ball all over him. Hey, do that. Rob Sports, watching from Baton Rouge. Good stuff, Coach. I appreciate it. Hey, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Hey, if you play this week, kick some ass, okay? And if you like this, if you want me to do some more Q&As and everything like that, smash that like button. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and all of that. And I will see you next time. High fives and butt slaps, fellas.